I must say that I found the story to be relatable, highly accessible. I mean, the decline of your parents and the changing power dynamic of that. It felt very, very personal. So I'm just wondering if you can talk about the origins of the story. I mean, it's such a basic question, but where did you get your idea?
Yeah, in this case, it was not an idea for a story. It was the feeling that I want to get close to my parents, who had died shortly before, and I had the feeling that in life I never had the chance to really get close. So I had the urge to do that with the writing, and I thought, well, my parents led a very unremarkable life. They did nothing very special. They never had their 15 seconds of, how do you say, room from, yeah, the Andy Warhol thing. So I thought maybe I give them that. So that was the starting point. I want them to come back to life. While making a film with them. That was the starting point of it. And then came a lot of other things, but that was the starting point.
Did you write with this particular collection of actors in mind, or I mean, did you write specifically for them? Did you approach them afterwards? And I'm wondering how you actually pitched this film to them, particularly the difference in the tones, the dark comedy. It's a difficult film to perhaps explain.
That's actually true. It was very difficult for me to decide what I would tell the actors about this project, because I was wondering, shall I tell them, you are playing my father, you're playing my mother, or not telling them. And then I very early on decided, no, I have to be honest about it. There's no other way to talk. It's the same here. No, I'm talking about this now. I wondered about this as well before the Berlinale. I thought, should I talk about it or not? I mean, in the end, it's not important, actually, if that is a personal film. For the audience, it's not important. For the film, it's very important, and the way it was created and it developed. But in the end, for the audience now, I don't know, they don't even have to know, I think. But I found out that it's, for me, impossible to talk about this film without saying all this. So I said, okay, then I say it.
They perform together as a family so well, a dysfunctional family who love each other but perhaps don't like each other anymore. I'm wondering about the rehearsal process, getting them to connect as family members.
Well, because it is a family that nearly never really meets, I made no rehearsals with them, because I wanted exactly that there's some alienation between them. Yeah. So when they have scenes with each other, it's like they meet for the first time, and that gave these scenes exactly the kind of attention that I was hoping for.
I have to say, I mean, it's probably a question you've been asked many times today, but a film with the name Dying creates certain expectations, and yet it's very funny. It's a very life-affirming film, I thought. Was there any pressure from financiers and your co-producers to give it a happier kind of connotation with the title?
Yes, all the time. And I was contemplating it, but I never found a title that I liked better than this one. I think that if I would see a poster of a movie and it says Dying, I would be instantly interested, because it's such a... really? Make a film about dying? You immediately think this is different. It's a different kind of film. And that's the kind of movies I want to see. And actually, that's the kind of audience that I want. The audience who's interested to see a film that's different. That's not just entertainment. Yeah? So I think in a way the title is inviting exactly the kind of audience that I think is the right audience for this film.
And you've divided into episodes, so to speak, chapters, each with their own on-screen title. What is the purpose of that structure in helping you to tell the story?
In the screenplay, it was not divided into chapters. It was all mixed up, much more chaotic. And in the editing process, I had the feeling that it's too chaotic, and you cannot really concentrate on, you cannot focus on the emotions of the characters. And then I tried out to make 3 films. There's really 3 films. There's a film Lizzie, Tom, these 3 films, one day I might release them actually, because I love these 3 films a lot. My distributors were not so happy about that idea. I thought, let's release three films at the same time for the same money. And so, tough to, I don't know. I understand that. But I used the idea then to have different chapters for the beginning, and then I'm intertwine it more and more as long as more the film goes. And I also like the idea that in that way I have a phone call twice. You know, I have a phone call father, mother, son in the beginning. You see only the mother in their life, and then 20 minutes later you see the same phone call and only his perspective. And then you understand something about the fact that they are just in 2 different worlds, like on 2 different planets, and they just talk over the phone, but there's like I say, like they're on different planets. You know.
Was there, I mean, going back to my previous question about changing the title possibility there, was there any pressure to reduce the running time? I mean, it is a 3-hour film, as had been pointed out in many of the reviews, but it's a film that I don't think is too long. I'm just wondering, from a commercial perspective, were you asked to turn in a shorter edit?
The screenplay was 200 pages long.
Oh, okay.
So everybody knew from the start, this is going to be a long film. And in the contract it said 3 hours is okay. So not longer than 3 hours, but 3 hours is okay. For a long time, the film was much longer than 3 hours. There are cuts that edits that are 4.5 hours long, or 3 hours and 20. So I always say, this is a shortcut. This is a short 3 hours. And I think movies are more and more long now, even Hollywood movies like The Avengers or Avatar. And there was a time where films in the 60s, 50s were long. La Dolce Vita was 3 hours. Rocco and his Brothers were 3 hours. A lot of films were 3 hours. Tarkovsky, Andrei Rublev, 3 hours. A lot of films for 3 hours. It was much more normal that a film was 3 hours. Why not? I mean, why not? I know on a commercial stuff, but I want to make a film that's 72 hours long. It's something I'm really planning to do. People can sleep in the cinema and it's parts of it. I like long movies. I like it. I think it makes it more a live experience. You sit there and make it in the dark room and make a live experience. If it's good, if you're not bored, but then the fact that you see longer, you see more. You get more to the characters. It makes it more emotional reaction, more intellectual food thought. Yeah, I like it.
Critical reaction to the film has been quite positive. I mean, I personally gave it quite a good review. Does that matter to you as a director?
Yeah, it's interesting. That yesterday, the screening with the audience was really fantastic. Overwhelmingly fantastic. Yeah, the way they reacted and understand that's not the film, I think. And I was so happy. And today I read some reviews that didn't get the film so much. And I, to be honest, yesterday evening, I had the feeling that I'm loved. And that's what it's all about. And tomorrow, that feeling vanished.